Hi everyone, it's Becky from the Central Coast Library Service here today, and we've got our friend Parker the Platypus, and we have a very special visitor, Lee, from Australian Wildlife Displays. And you may have already seen another video that we've done with Lee, and today we've got some more exciting Australian creatures to meet. So welcome again, Lee.
Thanks for having me back again. Today's a little bit different.
Ooh.
So last time we looked at our furry and feathered animals. Today we might look at things with scales, I think. And I know there's going to be lots of kids out there who just love reptiles. Because, let's be serious, who as a kid didn't love reptiles? So you might see I've actually already got someone with me sitting here on my lap, chilling out. And this is Bubblegum.
Oh, hello, Bubblegum.
So this is Bubblegum, and he's a beautiful blue-tongued lizard. And I think he might be one of our most well-known lizards in Australia, I think. A lot of people know blue-tongued lizards. A lot of people have seen them. And if you're a really lucky person, maybe you got one in your backyard, which I think is really awesome.
That's very special.
And more Bubblegum, have you actually shown us your tongue yet? Yes, because he hasn't shown us his tongue. And maybe there's a bit of a reason, because today's actually really cold. And when you're a reptile and it's cold outside, guess what? You're also very cold. Have a touch of him, Becky, and tell me about his temperature.
Oh, he's very cold.
Yes, he
Yes.
is. Yes. So Bubblegum here is actually very cold, pretty much like our outside temperature. And so that's why he's also pretty still, because when they're cold, they're pretty slow. And so if it was a nice sunny day, he might be a bit more active.
Okay.
But because it's winter, it is actually winter now, he's going to be a lot slower. So the kids might notice they're not actually seeing the blue-tongued lizard in their backyard as often now, because he'll be hiding under some rocks or under a log, or even digging a bit of a spot under some bark to try and keep as warm as possible in these colder weather.
Okay.
Would you like to have a little touch, Parker? Can you feel just how cold he is?
He might need to borrow your scarf, Parker.
Well, maybe that's just what he needs. And the kids might even see that he's got these beautiful patterns along his scales. So he's got these line patterns. And actually, do you see, might have noticed some of my props I've got here. So I've brought along these with me. And then the kids might even notice that this is a hollow log. So it's a log that's got a hole in the middle. And you kind of can see a resemblance of some of the colour. So it brings back to that word we mentioned a bit of it last time in our last session, was camouflage. But these hollow logs, I'm not sure if kids actually realise how important these hollow logs are, because the kids might have an idea actually where Bubblegum might hide in your garden.
He's found a nice little hiding spot.
I reckon that this is a pretty awesome hidey spot if you're a blue-tongued lizard. And if you're hiding in here, there's another good thing. You're actually really safe. So if there was something visiting your garden that he was a bit scared of, he could go into one of these and he'd be safe. So not only could this help keep him a little bit warmer in the cooler weather, but it could also be a good protection for him. I wonder if... Oh, there you go. He's got his little head poking out. The kids might see. I reckon this is a pretty good home for a blue-tongued lizard.
What do you think he might need to hide from, Lee?
Well, there's various things. As a baby blue-tongued lizard, there's lots of other animals that might eat him. Lots of our native animals, such as a kookaburra. Now, we frequently find them in our backyards. And I think if a baby lizard was found by a kookaburra, it'd be in very big trouble. And so but unfortunately, actually, one of the biggest problems for our blue tongues in our very own backyard is actually our own pet dogs. Not so much the cats, it's the dogs that pose a big problem. Because when a dog sees something running around, he gets very excited and grabs it. And that's not so good for our lizards.
No.
So I reckon if you know that you've got a lizard that visits your garden, reckon it's good to maybe put a few hidey places in there for it,
Yeah.
just so it's safe. Bubblegum, the blue-tongued lizard. I hope you kids have seen one in your backyard. That'd be really awesome. And if not, maybe you could go for an adventure down to the park and have a look at the shrubs. Sometimes you've got to listen though, because you've got to listen for the rustling sound on the ground. So it means you might have to be a little bit quiet.
Mm.
See how you go. It's a great thing to go out looking. You never know what you might find. You might even just find some really cool bugs on an adventure. I reckon. I love bugs. He loves bugs too, did you know?
No.
Ooh, he does. Not for friendship though. He loves to eat bugs. He loves snails too. Well, there's a reason to have, that's a good reason to have a blue tongue in your garden, eating the snails so they don't eat your plants. I think all the mums should want a blue tongue in their garden. Or dads, if it's dad who does the gardening. Can I show you something else, Parker? Hey kids, check out what I've got. Luckily, you don't find this one in your garden.
No.
Which is a good one. And even if you go down to the creek, you won't find this one at your creek. And even if we head down to the beautiful beaches off the Central Coast, you still won't see one of these.
Ooh.
And I hope all the kids know that this is a beautiful saltwater crocodile.
Uh-huh.
Or the other name is an estuarine crocodile.
Okay.
And these are very beautiful. This one's only young though. He's probably only about 2 years old. So he's only a little baby. His name's Snappy though.
Ooh.
I wonder why I call him
Keep
Snappy,
my fingers
Parker.
away.
Yep, I know. But we'll be safe today.
Yes.
It's okay. So he's a little baby. I can show you how long he is. So he's maybe about 1 metre long. He'd be about 1 metre long. But I really love all the patterns and the colours and even the different shapes of his scales along his body. I think it's a very fascinating animal. And the colours remind me of the murky water where these crocodiles come from. If you sort of close your eyes and imagine some murky water rivers up in northern Australia and then think about his colours, I reckon he'd be pretty hard to spot, swimming quietly down the river. You know what, Parker? Do you know what we should do? We should go on a crocodile adventure. Looking at the really big crocodiles in the Northern Territory. Maybe even about 5 metres long.
Wow.
That's longer than our stage. We won't pat those ones, okay, Parker? Nope, good. We can pat this one though. And do you know what I find really fascinating is the feel on his back is very different from the feel underneath his tummy here. So if you want to have a little touch, Becky, so if you use 2 hands and put one on his back and then one underneath, you'll notice how they're really, really different.
Very different.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
And he's a little bit cool to touch.
He's cold on the tummy.
He's a little bit cold because remember, he's a reptile. So when it's cold outside, he's also cold. Although I do have to say, Snappy, because he doesn't belong in Sydney, we do have to give him a special warm house to live in. Okay, because it's just too cold. And that's why we don't find them around here, because it's just too cold. The water's too cold. If you go up to Darwin, the water's beautiful and warm. You could even go swimming in winter, it's that warm.
Okay.
Here, Parker, would you love to touch him?
Oh, you're very brave.
And he's going to have a little wiggle. Oh, you nearly got a whack from his tail. No, your fingers are all still there. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? These are very, very beautiful, beautiful animals. And they are very big too. And they are very dangerous.
Ooh, he's having a smile.
Oh, check out those teeth.
Oh.
Nice white pointy teeth. I love his big eyes though.
Yes.
Big eyes, very good for seeing. And you notice that his nose is in a bit of a weird spot. It's on top. See how his nose is actually on top. So it's all about being in the water with only your eyes and your nose above, so nothing can see you. They're very well adapted for being a good hunting predator. And I also love this too. You can close your mouth now, Snappy. I love how he's got webbed feet. Yeah, you'd know a bit about webbed feet, wouldn't you, Parker? Yep, for helping you swim. But not just swim really fast, like really fast. And this helps swim too. Their beautiful long tail. I do love crocodiles. Remind me a bit of dinosaurs.
They do look like dinosaurs.
I know.
Bit of Jurassic Park.
A bit like, yeah, a bit like Jurassic Park, but they remind me of dinosaurs. The Jurassic period of really awesome big dinosaurs. I do love crocodiles, but you know what? I've still got more. Do you want some more? Are you still going to be brave? You'll be right, Parker. Let's pop Snappy away.
Bye, Snappy.
So, I've got a princess. She's very beautiful. Actually, have you noticed this really cool chair I'm sitting on? Kids might notice it. This is a really cool chair, kids. If you ever go for a bushwalk, you should get one of these. It's a backpack too. How handy is that, Parker? But I want to show you what I've got in my backpack today. I've got something really cool in my backpack. She's got a very beautiful pattern. Come here, princess.
Wow. That's not what I had in mind when you said princess.
This is a very, very beautiful animal called a diamond python. And you know what? We're really, really lucky on the Central Coast because we have these beautiful diamond pythons living right here all around us. Central Coast is a very, very lucky place because we've got quite a few snakes around. But the kids already knew that if you see a snake, do you go patting it? Nope. You leave it alone. And have you heard, hey Parker, have you heard the saying, if you leave snakes alone, they leave you alone? Yep. That's what I always tell the kids.
Yep.
They're beautiful to look at, but you don't need to touch them.
No.
I love to see how they move. And I really love these diamond pythons. They've got very beautiful patterns. And some of them can be more yellow, some of them can have more white, and some of them can even be almost all black. So they vary quite a bit in their colour. Now, being a python, we know that this is non-venomous. So this snake actually can't hurt us, okay? But still, even if you did see a snake outside and you thought it was a diamond python, I'd still say leave it alone. Just watch it. Maybe even take a photo of it.
Good idea.
But don't pat it. Just leave it doing what it's doing. It's probably not doing much. It's probably just resting in a tree or resting on a rocky cliff face. I know, it'd be very cool. So Princess here, a diamond python. Would you like to have a touch of it?
Sure. She's very cold too.
Because it's cold outside. I think that might be a common theme for our animals at the moment.
I think
They're
so.
a bit cold. How does it feel? Is it bumpy or?
No, it's very smooth.
Oh, is it slimy?
Not slimy.
Oh my gosh. Would you like to have a try, Parker? It's not slimy. I know a lot of people say, oh, snakes, they're slimy, but they're not.
No.
But I think maybe the theory behind it is that because our hand's warm and then we touch something very cold, it gives the illusion of it being slimy because it's a temperature difference. But I think these are very, very beautiful, very fascinating, play a very important role in our ecosystem. Diamond python. Keep your eyes peeled for one of these, kids. A lot of people find them around their homes. But just remember, leave them alone.
Lots of our friends that you've been showing us have camouflage, don't they?
Yes, yeah. And she's pretty much the same, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's got these, a lot of them have got patterns that blend in. Because if you look down at the dirt, it's not all the same brown. Or if you look at the bark on the trees or the mulch on the ground, it's made up of lots of different colours. And that's why our animals are also made up of lots of different colours. I do find their colours very, very beautiful. Speaking of colours and beautiful, can I show you my last one?
Yes,
I can give you a clue. Her name is Joanna.
Ooh.
That could be a clue. Have a think about that, kids. Joanna.
What do you think might rhyme with Joanna?
Joanna.
Let's see if you can guess.
Did you work out who Joanna is? I hope the name Joanna will actually give away what type of animal I was going to come out with. You might have also noticed something else. I've put a jacket on, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. So this is Joanna, and Joanna is a lace monitor.
Oh.
I know, it's a bit of a trick. It's a bit of a trick. So we call these beautiful group of lizards goannas. And right here on the Central Coast, we have this one that lives around us. So this is a lace monitor. And this is the most common goanna that we'll see around on the Central Coast. So Joanna, I think we could all guess, is a girl, as the name suggests. And this is probably about as big as the girl lace monitor gets. Let's see if I can get Joanna to go a bit sideways so I can stretch her out a bit. I've got tail and claws. Oops, here we go. You can maybe hold that tail out for me, Becky, there. So you'll see she's probably maybe about 1.4-ish metres. Okay, and that's about as big as a girl goanna will get. Boy goannas, on the other hand, will get even bigger. So they could even get over 2 metres long. So a big male goanna that you find out in the bush could be over 2 metres long. Now, there's a reason why I am put my jacket on for Joanna, because she loves a cuddle. And unfortunately for me, Joanna has these extremely long claws. But she needs these claws because they climb trees. So this beautiful goanna, who's giving me a very good cuddle at the moment, spends most of her time up trees. And right now in winter, a lot of them will be hiding in the trees. So they need these claws to climb quick and climb high. You go that way, Joanna. But you know what I really love? Check out this beautiful pattern. Reminds me a little bit like Aboriginal artwork. All the beautiful dots.
Like a dot painting.
Yeah, like a dot painting. So it's very, very cool. And they vary a fair bit. So you'll get some goannas that have got a lot more white or even more yellow. And then you'll have others that are almost all black. So they vary quite a bit in colour. Something really cool is happening with Joanna. Becky, you might be able to see there's a difference.
Different colours.
And what's happening is she's actually shedding her skin. So right now, she's starting to shed her skin, and it comes off a bit more in patches. So if like our snake that we just saw, when she sheds her skin, she sheds it off in one big long strip. So it's like almost like pulling a stocking off your leg. Whereas the goanna is a bit more patchy. So a little bit different. A very good long tail. So they often use their tail for whipping. It's very strong and powerful. Should we test it on you, Parker? No, I would never do that. I would never do that. But these claws are the most fascinating thing of these beautiful goannas. They're just big and strong and very good for hooking into the bark. So if there was a goanna on the tree, you'd never be able to pull it off. They're way too strong. They're extremely fascinating. All right, Joanna, can you come down for a second? I'm not a tree, Joanna. I know you might like to climb me like a tree. I've got to unhook all my claws. Oops, as one claw goes off, another one goes on. Here we go. We might not be having too much. We might have to stay cuddling. Okay, so Becky, would you just like to have a touch of that scale there? Now, does that feel like our lizard? Like our blue tongue lizard, or is it a bit different?
No, it's a bit more rough than the blue tongue.
Yeah, so...
But it's, yeah.
So the pattern and even the texture is very, very different. So these are quite rough lizards. Here we go. All right, let's sit back down on my lap. That would be awesome. Thank you. There we go. Parker, would you like to touch her tail? I promise I won't let her give you a whack with her tail. I promise.
It's got a beautiful pattern underneath as well.
Yes. Yes, a different pattern underneath. Well, I hope you love my animals.
Very,
I hope
very
you
special.
kids have loved meeting, maybe even learnt something about my animals. Well, I think it might be time to all go and chill back out in their
Yeah.
beautiful homes. Thanks, kids.
Thanks so much, Lee, for coming and bringing us your special creatures. And make sure you watch some of our other special videos. And you might even like to get onto our website and Encyclopedia Britannica and find out some more information about some of these amazing Australian animals that we've met. We'll see you later. Bye.